Taking a look at this one, again, our first step is looking for the LCD. Before I get to that, I need to make sure that all my denominators have been factored so that I can look for that LCD. So when I look at this one in particular, the denominator is that quadratic again, so I know I need to factor that as x and x. My factors need to multiply to 8 but add to 6. That's going to be a -2 and a -4 that will multiply to 8 and give me a 6. So I'm going to rewrite that denominator into its factors. Now I can take a look at what my LCD should look like. My LCD is the combination of each thing that's accounted for. So I have an x minus 4 here. I have an x minus 2 here. And over here, I have an x minus 2 and an x minus 4 that are both accounted for. So I've got all my factors, which makes my LCD the combination of x minus 4, x minus 2. So now, remember, I'm going to multiply each piece by that. So if I multiply my first term of 1 over x minus 4 by x minus 4, x minus 2, then my x minus 4s are going to cancel out. If I multiply the next term, or the next ratio, by x minus 4, x minus 2, my x minus 2s are going to cancel out. And then I have my equal sign. And if I multiply this one here by my LCD of x minus 4, x minus 2, now my x minus 4s and my x minus 2s cancel out. So what remains? What's going to remain in the first one is 1 times x minus 2 plus the x times x minus 4 is left on the second ratio, and in the third ratio, it's just the number 2. So now I'm left with distributing. That's going to give me just x minus 2. This one, when I distribute, is going to give me x squared minus 4x, and this gives me 2. Here I am again with my quadratic, and I need to put it into standard form. So that means everything needs to get regrouped, going from highest exponent to lowest, and everything on the left-hand side. So my first step, I guess, I'll bring over my 2, change sides, change the signs, and then I'm going to regroup, putting my common, my like terms together. So I have an x squared that should go up front. I have an x, that's a 1x, right? And I have a minus 4x. Together that's going to be a negative 3x. And then lastly, I have a negative 2 and the second negative 2, which gives me a negative 4. There's my quadratic. That's what I need to solve. I'm going to use the factoring method and then the zero product property. That's an x, so the numbers that will multiply to negative 4 is negative 2 times 2, or negative 4 times 1, or the negative could go elsewhere. The negative 4 times 1 is the number that's going to, the pair of numbers that will give me the negative 3, so that gives me x minus 4 and x plus 1. Now with zero product property, I have x minus 4 equals 0, or x plus 1 equals 0. So add 4. X could possibly equal 4, and in here, x possibly equals negative 1. I say possibly because I need to check for my extraneous solutions. So I'm going back to the top and checking if either 4 or negative 1 might create a 0 in the denominator. So if I were to plug in a 4 right here, 4 minus 4 is 0. I cannot have a fraction that has 1 over 0. So my value of 4 is what I call extraneous. It's an extra solution mathematically that does not work when I plug it back in. And then I'm going to look for my negative 1. Well, if I plug in negative 1 in that first spot, I get negative 5 as my denominator. That's not a problem. If I plug in negative 1 in the next denominator, I get negative 3. Also not a problem. And in the final ratio, I'll be plugging it in and getting two numbers that are not 0 as well. So, my final solution to this problem is x equals negative 1.